Good morning, Tony. Happy New Year, and welcome to the Fantasy Football Wake-Up Call. I know that you're going for Fantasy Championship Week this week, Tony. Are you excited?
Oh, yes, I'm excited, Joe. I'm the only one on this channel who's playing in a championship. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I got to do this. I got to do this for the channel, for the sanctity of the show, Joe. Like that we sit here every Sunday, week after week, and give advice. I need to be that.
Let me get you pumped up right now. And there we go, Tony. Better late than never, but I'll be the first one to say good luck today, Tony. Good luck on your championship.
Thank you. What's crazy is like when you sent me that video last night of Austin Eckler, and I was going to have you pull that thing up. It's one of those things where it's like, how cool is it to see somebody like Austin Eckler that's like, hey, I know you guys are worried and you like, we spend time on this. We look at things, we check injury reports, we check weather reports, we check trends and stats and this and that and all that stuff. And he's like, hey, I got you. I'm going to let you know for sure that I'm playing today in the game. Like, I'm not sure how much I'm going to play or how much I'm going to score, or I can't give away the game plan, but you can feel good about starting Austin Eckler, because if you're in the championship, there's a good chance that you have Austin Eckler on your team, because when we look back at the running backs that we drafted ahead of Austin Eckler in some of these spots, most of them did not work out. Like in the first round, the most consistent players are probably CMC and Austin Eckler.
Yeah. And Austin Eckler, is he still the number one, or did CMC take over?
I don't know. It's a good question. He's one or two for sure.
He was number one for at least almost the whole season. So I don't know if CMC barely took over, but Austin Eckler has been that. And you know what? What's great about Austin Eckler doing that and saying, "Hey, if I'm on your championship roster, send me a screenshot of your team, and I want to see it." And Austin Eckler has been giving jerseys away all season. Austin Eckler gets it, Tony. And a lot of NFL players don't get it. The NFL itself, I don't think, understands fantasy football yet. Because if they did, they wouldn't have bye weeks in week 14. I'll just tell you that.
Well, I do think that some of that stuff's going to change, like, over the next couple of years, Joe. I think we're going to get, during the next collective bargaining agreement, which will be like 2025 or something, they're going to get an 18th game. And I think that we're going to end up seeing a multi-bye system. Like you're going to get most likely worked in 2 byes at some point where the season ends up stretching out to be, a little bit deeper. The Super Bowl's played in the final weekend of February type of a deal.
I got some questions for you, Tony. People are already rolling in with them already. Let me get it ready for us. I should have been more prepared on it over here, but
that's all good.
But yeah, it's Fantasy Football Championship Week. I'm glad a lot of people are in it. So somebody said pick 2, and it looks like some of them are Green Bay Packers. Aaron Jones, Montgomery, or Lazard. Which one are you going with, Tony?
Montgomery or Lazard? I kind of like Allen Lazard and must win spot right there. And you said I got to pick 2 of them, right?
Yeah, pick 2.
I'm probably gonna start Aaron Jones and Allen Lazard. Like
Aaron
there's
Jones, Allen, and Lazard, huh? All right.
real quick, Joe, before last week, would you have started you wouldn't have started Montgomery against the Lions because they were crushing it against the run, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a
I,
sudden, it's like 1 week. Do you think it's broken in Detroit, or was that
I just think it was great coaching by Steve Wilkes because, like I said, the Lions have been shutting down the run ever since their bye. That one, I think they came in over a little bit overconfident, like, hey, they listened to everybody on the outside. Hey, the Lions are going to the playoffs, and they just came in too big headed. And I think they got every once in a while you get slapped in the mouth, and they did.
I agree.
Good morning, everybody on TikTok and on YouTube. Happy New Year's, like you said. Good luck on every game. Remember, guys, sports is just a fun topic that we can have. It's nothing serious. It's just fun to have. Let's see what's going on. McLaren, Deontay Johnson, or Garrett Wilson. I'm guessing pick one, Tony.
McLaren, Deontay Johnson, Garrett Wilson. Oh, see, here's the thing with McLaurin, he's better with Taylor Heineke, right? Like for whatever reason, Jahan Dotson and Curtis Samuel were the guys early on when Wentz was playing. So then that would leave me with Deontay Johnson or Garrett Wilson. Mike White is back. They have to win. The game is in Seattle. Conditions should be pretty good. I didn't check. Maybe there's some rain that you might want to look at. I don't have any Jets. But I tend to like Garrett Wilson in this matchup because Mike White likes to sling it around. Deontay
Garrett
Johnson,
Wilson would be your choice.
yeah, I think Garrett Wilson would be my choice because Deontay Johnson feels safe, but Garrett Wilson feels like championship week. You might get 130 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
All game weather, every game looks good for weather-wise, except for Monday night that says it has a chance of rain. So everything else is all good.
I'm not going to lie, Joe. I'm really hoping that Monday is a sloppy, 10 to 13 game because I'm playing against Jamar Chase and Josh Allen and whatever, and I need it to be a sloppy game.
Are you liking Cam Akers or Josh Jacobs?
I like Cam Akers. Josh Jacobs is competing for a rushing title, but he's going up against the 49ers, and you already know what I think is going to happen to the Raiders today. I think the 49ers are going to whoop them. They're going to snatch souls from this game. They're going to have the Raiders quitting in like the second quarter. So I'm going Cam Akers.
Cam Akers, right? There you guys go. Cam Akers over Josh Jacobs this weekend, according to Tony. I still believe the Raiders, if they want to beat the defense, they got to keep Josh Jacobs on the field, and they got a new running back or a new quarterback going. So what the quarterback wants to do? He wants to hand it off. But there you go. Jared Goff or Justin Fields, that's one of the biggest questions going on. I think that's going to be one of the highest scoring games in the NFL this weekend. But there's a reason I put one of these guys on our graphic this morning, Tony, because he's going to lead a lot of people to the championship, and you never thought he was because one team, the team that he was originally on, got rid of him because he wasn't leading the championships.
It's funny because if I had this, I am starting Jared Goff in my championship today because Jalen Hurts is out. But if you told me I had a choice between Justin Fields and Jared Goff, I think that I would still pick Jared Goff. Just at home in the dome, and the Lions, he's played really good there and put up a lot of points. So I'm going to start Jared Goff. If you play in a league that has 6 points passing per touchdown, I think you might be able to get 3 touchdowns out of Jared Goff today.
Jared Goff going to win some championships today, Tony. Who would have thought? The Rams never thought that. Nick Chubb or Tyler Algier?
This is another one. I'm starting Tyler Algier. But how do you give people advice to sit Nick Chubb when he's probably a reason that you're in the finals? Like he won you a lot of weeks this year. But
and you probably took him first round.
Who are the Browns playing again? The Browns are playing in a meaningless game. I forget who it is. It's I should be able to let me bring it up. I can contribute something to this, Joe.
Yeah, you could do one thing today, Tony.
I could do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I could look at it on my phone. Let's see. Where the fuck is it?
The Browns are playing the Washington Commanders, Tony.
Okay. Commanders, good run defense. So I'm going to play Tyler Algier against a Cardinals team that I feel like pretty much quit. Junior over here in the YouTube chat asking, you think the Chargers can end up the 5th seed? Junior, I do think they can be the 5th seed. I don't necessarily think that it matters. But like, it doesn't matter. They're going on the
Be a
road,
road game,
and it doesn't really matter.
and it doesn't matter who your opponent is. It could be. I mean, who would you rather the Chargers meet up with, the Bengals or the Ravens? That's what it comes down to, right?
Well, no.
Oh no, Bengals or Jaguars.
So if they're in the 5th seed, if they're in the 5th seed, I would prefer they play the Titans, which I already told you what I think is going to happen, and I think the Titans are going to win in Week 18 on Sunday Night Football. So I would prefer that they're in the 5th seed if that ends up being the case. So I guess, Junior, it does matter on some level if the Titans end up winning. But I don't know. I mean, the Bengals, Bills, or Chiefs, who's ever in that spot, it's all a tough matchup, and I think the Chargers can beat them all. And why? Because I'm biased as hell.
So Daniel says Williams, not sure what Williams. I don't think he put it back on there. Williams, Stevenson, or McKinnon? I'm gonna guess Jamal Williams.
Yeah, I think it's probably Jamal Williams. I'm probably going to start Jerick McKinnon in this. He's just been too much of a weapon. Like he gets it in the passing game option. They're giving him carries inside of the 20. Like Jerick McKinnon's had a real nice revival to his career, which is great because that guy suffered some horrible knee injuries, and then he ended up in the right spot, which is Andy Reid. If you want to have a good career in the NFL, find your way to Andy Reid.
I like what McKinnon's doing, but if I had to pick, I'm still going with Stevenson, especially against the Miami Dolphins that's not playing 3 or 4 of their starters today. They're all inactive, so I would go Stevenson against Miami Dolphins.
But I think Damien Harris is back too, right?
Yeah, but I already made that mistake a couple weeks ago when I didn't start Stevenson against the Raiders because I thought he was hurt. I'm not doing it again. I'm keeping with him. He's been a stud all year. Danny Dimes or Minshew, and Hodgins or James Jones.
I think it's Richie James, right? Isn't that James Jr.? I like Hodgins in that matchup. He's a bigger target, and I'm probably gonna, Joe, I can't believe I'm gonna say this out loud, but I'm probably gonna start Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes. Oh, I didn't think you would go that way. Let's go over to TikTok, and they said Zay Jones or Amari Cooper.
I think I would start Zay Jones. Like, and this is one thing I was telling you, Joe, that I'm having an issue with. Like, Zay Jones has been really hot, but part of the reason that stopped him last week was that he just got shut down by Sauce Gardner, and we have to start looking at Sauce as like one of those guys that when your receiver goes up against him, you can't knock your receiver for that. And it's Zay Jones, by the way. It's not like it was somebody else. It was raining on Thursday Night Football, and he had Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
Like, I would go Zay Jones in that spot.
Trust Zay Jones, but would you take Brandon Ayuk over Zay Jones?
No, probably not. I think Ayuk because Debo's still out, so I think Ayuk is going to get enough work to be. I don't know. That's tough. What up, Joker?
Joker called off work today so he could head over to the SoFi Stadium. He said, "Shh, don't tell nobody." Well, the world knows now because millions of people are tuned in to MJT Football on YouTube, and we all just told them. So your boss just found out. Sorry, Joker, you're starting off the new year in trouble. So I'll start McKinnon and Williams. It is Jamal Williams that he was having, and he has one more: DJ Moore or Terry McLaurin.
I will go with DJ Moore in this spot. Terry McLaurin with Taylor Heineke was the matchup. That was the play at the beginning of the year. But now it feels like with Carson Wentz back in the fold, he doesn't just kind of throw those, whatever you want to call them, those F-it passes like Terry McLaurin does.
Happy New Year, Henrik. Happy New Year. My lineup is in shambles for championship weeks. I had Henry and Hopkins.
Oh,
that's a tough one. I had a guy send me and he had Derrick Henry and Tony Pollard as his running backs, and he didn't have a great week. So that sucks. Somebody's asking, do you start McKinnon over Chubb or Alvin Kamara?
Wait, say that again. McKinnon
over Chubb and Kamara.
Yeah, there's something weird going on with Kamara. I think it was one of the podcasts I listened to. I think they said he took down all of his Saints stuff on social media, or like unfollowed them or whatever. The video got released of the nightclub incident, so Alvin Kamara's in a weird spot. I would start Jerick McKinnon this week, and I would feel pretty good about it, because if the Broncos defense comes out and they actually play the run the way they have been playing the run, not the way they played it last week, they're going to need to move the ball in the passing game to Jerick McKinnon. And maybe he ends up with, half a dozen receptions and 80 all-purpose yards and a touchdown. So I like McKinnon this week.
Okay, so you like McKinnon right there. Devontae Adams or Mike Williams?
Mike Williams. Jared Stidham, I am not trusting him. If I have a better choice, if I have somebody like Mike Williams, I'm going to take a chance that Herbert finally throws a touchdown pass for the first time in 3 weeks, and it goes to Mike Williams today.
See, and my thing is, if Jared Stidham comes out and balls out, the guy he's not going to is not going to be Devontae Adams, because if you're the 49ers, the one guy you're going to take away is the main guy, right?
Yeah.
So if Jared Stidham's going to have a big game, it's going to be going to Keenan Cole, Darren Waller,
Matt Collins,
one of the smaller guys on the inside. Instead of, they're going to say, okay, we're taking Devontae away from you, and you got to beat us somehow. So I'm with you. I would go with Mike Williams in that one. This guy's been asking this one a lot. Chris Godwin or over Jalen Waddle?
Chris Godwin over Jalen Waddle. I don't know. I would start Jalen Waddle. I don't think there's much of a fall off, Joe.
Well, I know that J.C. Horn is battling his thing, but when J.C. Horn is on, that Panthers defense has been very, very good the last couple of weeks. And I think the Panthers lose this week, so I'm not going with I'm not going to recommend Godwin as I normally have. So I think you got to go with Waddle. And Waddle just, no matter who his quarterback is, Waddle ends up with so many receptions. It's unbelievable. So you just go with Waddle.
Yeah, I still think that he's viewed as the number 2. And when you're a coordinator and you're trying to game plan, I think that he's the second person you're game planning against. Those are going to be the easiest options and reads for Bridgewater. And so Waddle's going to get a lot of opportunities to have a big day. On the YouTube one, the Chargers defense, I would roll with this, because Joe made a good point on yesterday's show where he was saying, like, if the Jaguars get to a certain point where they might start pulling some guys that are kind of iffy to make sure that they're 100% for the must-win game next week, as to where I think the Chargers, who are already in the playoffs, are playing a team that isn't in the playoffs and playing a bunch of backups and reserves and a banged-up offensive line. And the one thing that they have been doing is being able to get after the passer. So I would go for a higher sack total with the Chargers than I would the Jaguars.
So here's another Eagles defense or 49ers defense?
Ooh, the 49ers defense to me is the play. I'm saying it right now, Joe. You guys are losing by 30 points.
I'm glad you're saying that, because every time you say that, you're always wrong.
30 points today.
Okay, so let's see over here. Christian Watkins or Devontae Smith?
Christian Watson.
There's some really good questions over here on the TikTok one that I'm trying to read, but they keep going quick.
Yeah.
So if you guys are on TikTok, come on over to YouTube, MJT Football on YouTube, and put it in the comment section. It's easier to pull up on the screen so both of
Yeah,
us can
if
see
you
it.
do that one, Joe, if you want to control that one, I can control this one over here. I would say I would tell that person to start Devonta Smith because we don't know the hip injury. So we don't know what we're getting out of Christian Watson. If I knew he was healthy, I would say Watson because I think the Saints defense, they're competing for a chance to go to the playoffs still.
So we got the half point. Need two: Dodson, Dobbins, Pickens, Khalil Herbert because he's back. Brandin Cooks or Dortch.
No need to apologize, Enrique. I would go with Dobbins. Nah, no, check that. No, yes, I would. I would put in Dobbins and I would put in Brandin Cooks. I was gonna say Dotson over because Dotson is back, and Dotson was the guy that started with Carson Wentz, where he had like 4 touchdowns in the first 3 weeks or whatever it was. He was
I
on.
like Dotson this week.
Yeah, so I would say Dotson would be number 3. I still like J.K. Dobbins to get enough work against the Steelers today.
All right, so we got that one going for us. Jacoby Myers or DJ Moore?
I would go DJ Moore.
I think you got to stick with DJ Moore. I think you have to. The way they've been playing the last couple of weeks, you got to. Jacoby Myers to me is. I mean, you took DJ Moore for a reason, right, Tony? You took him higher, and you go. I don't think you got to get cute championship week. There's a reason you got the championship. Don't get cute.
Yeah, DJ Moore will be one of my misses this year. When we go through the season and you and me and Mike sit down and we talk about players we missed on, he's going to be one of my misses.
All right, George Pickens or Adam Thielen?
Pickens.
George Pickens.
Yeah.
Daniel, you can ask all day, dude. No, don't worry about it. You're not getting on. You're not bothering us. You're not doing anything. That's what we're here for. Fantasy football wake up call comes here to answer all your. Because everybody sits there and they look at their lineup. Tony was doing it before the show, and he was just staring at his team. He's like, "What do I do? What do I do?" And my advice to Tony was, "Don't mess with it. You already said it. You go with it. If it's your gut feeling, and the more you tinker with it, the more you're going to feel bad about it when it's wrong." Aaron Rodgers or Brock Purdy? Who are you going with?
Wow, this is a difficult one. I think I'm actually if this is 6 points per passing touchdown, I'm probably going to rock with Brock Purdy.
So Brock Purdy over Aaron Rodgers. I think I could probably rock with that one because I think the Packers are going to lose. Look who's in the house, Tony. TDs. TDs. Good morning, TDs.
TDs, I'm going to start my Prize Picks adventure next week. I've been off because I've been focusing on all this stuff. Yeah, and Daniel, we're here to be the person that you can blame. If you lose, you say, "Oh, those idiots on MJT, they told me to do it." We want to give you that reason, even though you have a final say. Foreman, Monty,
next week and you tell us off. Let's see.
This is tough.
Thoughts on night tonight or today from the Jets?
I like Zonovan. I mean, you're playing the Seahawks, who haven't really stopped the run at all. So, like,
no, they haven't.
Why not? You know, if that's your option, shoot your shot. Like, if you're in one of those situations where you're like, Derrick Henry's out and this player's out and we don't know what's going on with the Lions backfield, like, I think that's a pretty good matchup, and I would play it. I have Tyler Algier, but if I had those as my options, I would probably play McKinnon, Hayden, in that spot. I would play McKinnon over Algier. Those would be the two that I would go between. Foreman is tempting because he just continues to crush, but the Bucks are a little bit better against the run, so there's a little hesitation there for me.
You were answering that one on the screen right there?
Yeah, I was answering that from Hayden.
Okay.
This one,
please, DJ Chark, Drake London, Brandin Cooks, Jahan Dotson or Curtis Samuel, 2 in a two flex PPR league. So it's PPR. You got to pick 2, Tony.
Drake London has had back-to-back productive weeks with Desmond Ridder, which is fantastic for him. So I would put him in there, and then I would probably go Jahan Dotson, Brandin Cooks.
There you guys go. Jahan Dotson and Brandin Cooks. No, not my Packers. Chargers. Are the Chargers going to stay hot, Tony?
Hell yeah, they're going to stay hot.
Swift or Jamal Williams?
I don't know. Flip a coin and then yell at your TV screen when it didn't end up right.
You're going to be mad either way. If Jamal Williams takes Swift's touchdowns away, you're going to be mad. If Swift takes Jamal Williams' touchdown. So, like Tony said, Swift is the better back, right? And he's supposed to be getting more. But Jamal Williams is that vulture and comes in and takes all the touchdowns. If I'm starting one, I'm starting Swift just because I know that they want to get him the ball more and more.
Yeah, I would start Swift, but who knows?
Do the Packers have to win out to make it?
Yes, and they still need a couple things to go in their favor, I believe.
So it is a must-win for them. Need to Bam Knight, Pacheco, or Montgomery. Oh, my gosh, Pacheco. Every time I recommend Pacheco, he always does me dirty.
Yeah, I do think that Pacheco is due for a big week. Like he's been getting you just enough. He's been getting you low double-digit, 10 to 12 points every week. And I think he's due in that Kansas City offense for a multi-score week. Now, is it this week? Could it be week 1 of the playoffs and when it doesn't matter for fantasy really anymore? I would start Bam Knight for sure. If he's healthy and he's going, and again, like I said, I did not pay a lot of attention to the Jets because I don't have any of them in my lineup. But if he's healthy, I would go Bam Knight, and then I would go with Pacheco.
Is there a way the Chargers get to the 5th seed? I would rather they play the Titans or the Jags instead of the Bengals.
Yeah, there is a way that they can get to the 5th seed. If the Steelers beat the Ravens this week and the Chargers win out, then the Chargers can be the 5th seed. So there is a way that they can get there. To me, it doesn't matter. The Chargers are in a really good position as long as they're healthy. But you also can't just take 2 weeks off, and they need to get the offense going. But we're not doing that today. We're not talking about what the Chargers
Before I get to Daniel's comment, Tony, this is an interesting one because Herbert hasn't been that good in the last – Herbert hasn't been good for fantasy football players in the fantasy football playoffs. So somebody's asking, Daniel Jones, Herbert, or Mac Jones today?
How did you make it to the finals with Herbert on your roster? Like, he's – in real life, Herbert's been top 10 this year. In fantasy, he's, got to be QB 15 or 16. Like, how did you make it to the finals?
I know I made the mistake of starting Herbert and trusting Herbert over Kirk Cousins.
I would probably in that. I'm going to start Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones over Herbert this week, guys, and that's from a Charger fan.
Yeah. Like, there's just no consistency with the offense, and when they get inside the red zone, they have Austin Eckler. The guy has 36 touchdowns in the last 2 years.
Yeah. So Daniel said he's never been to a fantasy football championship, so he's so stressed out. Plus, the winner gets $1K, and so the free money sounds nice. Just hope Justin Jefferson goes off. He's been my savior. Daniel, we play fantasy football. I know a lot of people play for money. A lot of people put money in pots, and you play for money. The money's great, but when you start thinking about the money, you start making dumb decisions and you start stressing out. Don't think about the money. Think about the fun that you had the whole time. And think of it as like, oh, you bought a video game online. You've been playing the whole time. And then if you do win and you win it, the money's nice. But if you stress about the money, you're not gonna enjoy watching the football games today.
It also feels like when you're younger, you care more about the money. But as you get older, you care about finding a way to justify your time. Like, I want to win a fantasy championship this year. I won last year. I have a chance to win this year, consecutive years where I can say, you know what? It wasn't a waste of time. I was better than everybody else. That's what I need. I need justification for the amount of time that I put into the research.
And somebody just said Justin Jefferson has been backpacking his team all year. He just said, "Get on my back. I'm taking you guys to the promised land." Another guy says he has a Jaguars defense, ETN and Ingram. Is that too many starters from the Jags?
I don't think so. I've been in a real that was I don't know if that person can hear me or not, but I've been between DJ Moore and Zay Jones all week. I'm not sure who I like more in that matchup.
And it's not like they're all on offense. One's a defense, which is okay that you can go with, and then the other one's a running back and a tight end. And the tight end position, no matter who you play, and if his name's not Travis Kelce, you're throwing a dart out there.
I picked up Evan Ingram because he's just been a real sense of security. He has 8 or more targets, I think, in 4 games. Trevor Lawrence has been looking for him heavily, especially in the red zone. Multiple touchdowns over that 4 weeks. I think Evan Ingram's a really solid play today.
Raid or somebody said it. I have Justin Fields and Joe Burrow. Please tell me who to start.
Ooh, whoa. That's a I would go with Joe Burrow. He just every week it seems like he finds a way to throw 3 touchdown passes. He's got multiple wide receivers. Hayden Hurst is coming back. They're playing the Bills in a game where, yes, there might be some bad weather, but it's Joe Burrow. Like, you drafted him to be in this spot.
There you guys go. Pick three, Tony. Jacobs, Kamara, Waddle, Connor. Also, he has Harrison Butker or Tyler Bass. Pick 3 and then do the kickers.
It's kind of like I would probably go with Waddle and James Conner for sure, and then Josh Jacobs. And then in the kicker situation, I'm probably going to go with Harrison Butker. I know he been a little wild and missed some kicks or whatever, but play him.
Speaking about kicks, did you see the game last night, Tony?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
If Michigan had to lose, I'm just happy Ohio State lost too.
So the number 1 overall pick next year or Waddle for Eckler. Are you making that trade? I mean, are you giving up Eckler for that right now?
101 or Waddle for Eckler? No, I would keep Austin Eckler. I don't think he's only like 27 and he's in too good of an offense. Like, just imagine if the Chargers offense gets back to where they were last year and you don't have Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I don't think they're going to draft a running back again high next year because they brought in Isaiah Spiller. So it's still going to be Kelly and Spiller fighting for a backup role to Austin Eckler, and neither one of those guys can compete with him. So I'm not giving up a potential number 1 player in fantasy for who? The Bisbee, the kid from Texas. I can't think of what his name is.
Chris Olave, DJ Moore, or Amari Cooper in the championship game, Tony? Who are you taking?
I think Chris Olave is out this week. Is he not? Or was it just last week?
I haven't seen him on. I didn't see him on the inactive.
Well, this person probably wouldn't be asking if he was. I don't know. I feel so uncomfortable telling all these people to start DJ Moore when I need him to have a big week, but we're relying on Sam Darnold to continue to be Sam Darnold. Like,
Say DJ Moore, Tony. Go ahead. Just say DJ Moore. DJ Moore. DJ Moore. Just say it, Tony. It's all right. It's all right. Somebody said CJ Stroud getting let down by his team. Sounds like a future Raider.
CJ Stroud actually looked better in last night's game than he did against Michigan in the Big Ten championship. Like, the Big Ten championship, I was like, how is this guy going to get drafted? as high as
Yeah.
everybody's telling me. And then last night made some really nice plays.
And let's just say the referees suck in college just like they do in the NFL.
Yeah,
Quarterback.
it's a human error position. I don't envy being a referee because I have been a referee for little league shit, for hockey games and baseball umpiring and stuff like that. Everybody hates you. Like it's the one thing everybody can agree on is that guy's an idiot.
What's up? Zero's in the house. Daniel's Purdy, Rogers. We already answered all these for you, but this is his lineup. So it was Purdy or Rogers, and you said go with Purdy, Jamal Williams, McKinnon, Jefferson. So you like his lineup right there, Tony?
Yeah, I'm starting Purdy. I mean, yeah, this feels good. He's already got Maher, so he's already got a dozen points, 10 points out of him.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that lineup's a good lineup.
yeah,
I think it'd
that
be
feels
good.
good. 49ers defense.
Mahomes needs 380 yards to break Peyton Manning's record for most passing yards in a season. Well, we're gonna see. And this is the thing. This is when you extend the season. This is where you start seeing more and more records get broken, right?
Wait, Patrick Mahomes is already over 5,000 yards?
Tony, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I didn't know he was that close. That's crazy. Well, good for him. I mean,
He-
it's
he's at 4,720 right now.
yeah, so he needs 380 per week because isn't Peyton Manning's record like 5,400 or something like that? 5418.
It's
Um,
5,477.
yeah, so he's got a long way to
Yeah,
go.
so he needs 380 per week.
380 per week. Yeah, which
Yeah.
is I don't think that's going to happen. But at some point these records are going to fall. This has been a really weird year, and I think at some point you, me, and Mike all need to talk about how this has been a bad year, like not a bad year, but a down year for fantasy football and for scoring and for offenses have all been down this year. It's been a
Yeah.
more defensive year in the NFL, and that's why I think some weird shit's about to happen in the playoffs. Like I think we're going to have one of those years where it's not going to be chalk for teams that are getting to the Super Bowl on both sides. Like last year we had the Bengals, but I think we could see something this year where it's like two lower seeds get hot. And again, biased.
Well, how many different teams are in the playoffs this year, Tony?
A lot.
Right?
Yeah.
The Eagles snuck in last year, so but you got the Vikings in there. You got the Giants in there. On the AFC side, you got the Chargers. You could have Miami or Jacksonville. You're gonna have some new faces in there, which is always good for the NFL. It's always good to see that.
Agreed. Yes, TDs, thank you for reminding me. Bijan Robinson. That's the kid from Texas. Although, again, my bias coming through, Blake Corum is the running back that I would like, and he's the person I will be drafting in my dynasty league. I guess it depends on the position. It depends on where they end up, what teams they're drafted to. Oh my goodness.
So yesterday, Tony. Here we go.
I do want to talk about this question here from Mike Dog. I do think that Justin Jefferson should be in the MVP because if we're not going to talk about the best player on a team for being in the MVP conversation, then why don't we just turn it into the best quarterback award? Why don't we turn it into the annual, let's give it a name. We'll call it the Johnny Unitas Award, or we'll give it some old quarterback, and then eventually we'll name it the Tom Brady Award or whatever. We have to look at the best players on the best 5 to 6 teams each year. And to me, that's been Justin Jefferson. And everybody goes, oh, well, these guys, they never talk about wide receiver. Last year, I think that they did an injustice, all of the voting committee, by not giving Cooper Kupp more votes. And that's on the people who vote. Like they're always you hear him go, well, nobody ever. It's like you have the choice, or you hear the people who have the microphones at NFL Network or ESPN or whatever, and they're like, oh, these people they never pick it. Well, put
Yeah.
more pressure on them to pick somebody other than a quarterback 9 years in a row or whatever it's been. Give votes to Cooper Kupp for winning the Triple Crown last year. If Justin Jefferson goes over 2,000 yards, vote for the man for MVP, because let's face it, the Vikings are not winning all these one-score football games this year if this guy isn't making tremendous catches, moving the chains, game-saving play week after week after week. That's an MVP. It's somebody who does something to put your team over the top. And it's not just a quarterback. Like, obviously, the quarterback is going to be the most valuable position because he touches the freaking ball on every play. But, like, this, we used to call it my friends, we call it the Curtis Painter argument. Peyton Manning should have won the MVP the year the Colts went 1-15 when he had a neck injury, because the Colts went from 15-1 to 1-15, and the only thing that changed on the team was Peyton Manning was gone. It didn't get any worse. The quarterback went away. So the quarterback
Another stat that I don't like either, Tony, is how they say you can't win the MVP if you're on a bad team. Like if your team's not winning. I don't really agree with that. I don't think your team has to go 12 and, what is it? 12-5 now to be able to win the MVP. I think sometimes you could be the best if your team can win 6 games. But would they have won those 6 games without you?
No, I disagree with that. I think you have to at least make the playoffs, and you have to have a winning record. Because how valuable are you? It is unfair. But then you have to start to think like, well, was there one-score games where they could have made a difference? I don't want to give an MVP to let's say that Brady's numbers were the same that they were last year to this year, but he makes it in the playoffs on an 8-9 record. I don't want the MVP to come from a losing record. I do think that there is something where, like, if you're 9-8 and your defense is terrible, but you've been dominating all year at your position and fighting, and you got your team to the playoffs, then I would say, yeah, I would be more open to that. I don't think it has to be on the team that's 13-4 every year.
RC Productions in the house.
Uh,
Dobbins, Najee, Slayton, or Peoples Jones.
Wow, this is kind of difficult. Najee's been better lately.
And People Jones has been Watson's guy now.
He has been. He had a big drop last week that killed. I would probably start Najee or Dobbins just because I know they're going to get a certain amount of touches. That's a tough game because those two guys are in one of those old school Pittsburgh, Baltimore, low scoring, bloody battles all the way to the end. Like somebody's going to win that game 17-16. Joe's favorite score.
See, and I like Najee because I think Mike Tomlin goes, hey, the way that I get back to getting my team over 500 is I run the damn ball. And I think they've committed a little bit more to Najee the last couple of weeks.
And they also know that that's going to help Kenny Pickett progress. Keep him on the field, keep him healthy, keep positive down and distance for him to make successful reads.
Do you think we'll see a Chiefs-Chargers matchup in the playoffs?
I do. I do. I'll leave it at that. We'll talk about it when we get there. But yes,
we'll have a Mike Dog. We'll have a big old fantasy football, or not fantasy football, but we'll have an NFL playoff show. Everything. If you guys are still watching, you guys are along with us, and if you guys aren't already subscribed, please subscribe now so you guys can see every time we get and set your notifications so every time you see us go live. But there it is. That's how you do it. You see that little subscribe button, you hit that button. Yeah, Tony, little graphics.
Yeah, they reseed in the NFL.
Yeah, once you get to let's see, NFL playoff picture. So the Chiefs more than likely would be number 2. So 2 will play 7.
I think the Chiefs are going to be the 1 seed, actually, Joe.
Okay, well, as of right now, I'm just telling you what they
Yeah.
are. 2 will play 7, 3 will play 6, and 5 and 4 will play each other, right? So then you move on. So 1 will play the winner.
So 1 would play the winner of the 4-5 matchup if everything goes to chalk.
So that could be either
That would
right
be
there, if the Chargers get the 5 spot and they move on, and the Chiefs get the number 1 spot, or you're looking at 2. Yeah, so either way, second round is what
Yep.
you're looking at.
Yeah. So even if it's Bills or Bengals and the Chargers win their first round matchup, if the Chargers advance, they would go to Kansas City in the second week.
And you could still get the Raiders versus the Chiefs too in the playoffs if the Raiders win out and a couple things, other things happen.
and the everything and the what do they call it? The multiverse crumbles. It folds in on itself. It collapses. Let's wish everybody the best of luck. We got 15 minutes to kick off. Appreciate everybody that's been here. Win a fantasy championship. It's not for the money. It's for the glory. It's for the bragging rights. It's for all the, all the bullshit that you go through all year. VM, Devontae Adams, or Jerry Jeudy. This is so sad that this is where we've gone to. I'm trying to get myself one of these. That's what I need to get to.
This is what it's about. This is what it's about. Right here. Get yourself one of these, and you got bragging rights for the whole. Look at that. Look at that, Tony. Look at that, Tony.
I'm going to get one. I'm going to get one today. Devontae Adams or Jerry Jeudy. How do I tell somebody to start Jerry Jeudy over Devontae Adams?
Very carefully, you go Jerry Jeudy. That's how you do it.
Jerry Jeudy. Start Jerry Jeudy in this matchup.
I had a lot of fun on the live. Thanks for the conversation. No, thank you, Mike Dog, for showing up, and thank you everybody else who's been in that chat. Zero, RC, VM who just showed up, TDs, Daniel, Connor Davis, everybody who was participating in here. If I missed your name, I apologize, but you guys are the ones that make this channel run. We just show up to have fun and talk, but you guys are the ones that keep us going. So we appreciate you guys showing up. Good luck on your fantasy football championships. If you didn't make it, root on somebody against the person that you don't like, the least amount. Because I don't like Tony Tucker, so I hope Tony Tucker loses. No, I'm just kidding. I hope Tony wins. It'd be good for Tony because Tony. At some point this year, Tony said, "I hate fantasy football," and he wanted to quit fantasy football because of how bad and up and down the season is. But it's working out for him.
Mike Dog wants an early Super Bowl prediction, and to that I say, tune in next week.
I should have had it ready. I wasn't ready for it, Tony.
I thought you had it ready. I thought you had it queued up.
Hold on. Do it again. Early Super Bowl prediction. Tune in next week.